When boats full of refugees land on Australia's shores, we hear a lot about it. When they wash up on these shores, however, it's a different story altogether. A year and a half ago, a terrifying journey that started on Bali ended not where it was supposed to end in Australia, but here, on another Indonesian island, Sumbawa.
دم کشتیوان ما آدم کسی نبود که در دریا بلد باشه. راه را گم کرد 12 روز طوفان، باران، رعد، برق و ایسو زن برادر مریض. خب داخل کشتی 125 نفر، 105 نفر، 110 نفر ما بودیم.
After their Australia-bound boat broke down just offshore, the mainly Afghani passengers were taken to the provincial capital, Sumbawa Besar, and detained by the Indonesian police. Muhammad Rahim has been housed here ever since, with his brother, their wives, and 6 children, in 2 rooms of a local hotel. His youngest son was born on the boat, in a storm, as the waves crashed over them. Although the family is now safe, they feel trapped here, in a remote outpost of a country that offers them no future.
دیروز زنم به خاطر که در افغانستان هم زندگی نداشت و این مسئله مصیبت دریا و 1.5 سال در اینجا. خب سیاست امت دست به خودکشی میزنه، مگه بماریم بهتر از است که ما زنده باشیم. آخر دست پایش گرفتیم، خیر خدا کریم است.
The scratches on her face are self-inflicted, evidence of her deep frustration and despair.
Ini no good. Ini no good. صار لهم هون سنتين تعذب. توطاهن إني شابة.
What people are trying to do is to travel to those countries where they would like to be a refugee, rather than staying where they are safe and secure. I mean, these people are not in any danger. They're safe and secure in Indonesia. They're being supported. But what they're saying is we demand to be resettled in a country where we believe there will be better support available to us financially and in health terms than perhaps is available in Indonesia.
Middle Eastern asylum seekers are now incarcerated across Indonesia. In Lombok, a group of 281 mainly Iraqis have been held under guard for 3 months. This former hotel is now their detention centre. They're still waiting to see the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, the UNHCR, which is responsible for assessing their asylum claims.
No, there is no one from the United Nations come to us. You know, since 4 months or a little least, there is no United Nations. No one care about us. They just don't want us. They just put us in the hands of the police. Most of us, our men without husbands, their husbands in Australia. What could they do if they stay without husbands?
In fact, there's a comprehensive Australian strategy that keeps these women from joining their husbands. The Australian government is paying the Indonesian authorities to catch the boat people and paying the International Organization for Migration to feed and house them. Indonesia is fast becoming Australia's offshore detention centre. Police headquarters in Lombok now has an office dedicated to illegal immigration. Another boat has just been caught on their patch in Bima, East Sumbawa.
Di Bima 77 orang, 34 dengan paspor, sisanya tidak ada paspor. Jadi kemungkinan kalau paspornya original, kemudian kita akan lepas karena belum ada bukti-bukti yang cukup. Pura-pura aja gitu.
At first glance, it seems extraordinary that in a country with over 1 million internally displaced people, energy and resources have been dedicated to helping Australia defend itself against a few thousand boat people. But then Australia is footing the bill.
Ada kita terikat dengan perjanjian kerjasama MOU antara pemerintah Indonesia dan pemerintah Australia, di mana polisi-polisi kita disekolahkan di Australia, tapi Australia minta supaya kita menangkap orang-orang imigran yang lewat Indonesia, yang transit di Indonesia.
Mereka kasih pelatihan atau dana atau apa untuk membantu itu?
Iya, dalam bentuk bantuan komputer, teropong, dan peralatan-peralatan lain.
What is the capital investment in this strategy for Australia? And are we getting our money's worth?
The investment is relatively small and modest in comparison to what it costs us if we have to hold larger and larger numbers of people in detention in Australia, processing their claims and arranging for their ultimate removal if they're not asylum seekers or genuine asylum seekers or refugees.
So how much would it be that we're providing the Indonesian police, for example?
Oh, I can't give you those figures, and I don't think it'd be appropriate to.
Is it hundreds of thousands or is it millions?
Oh, look, the amounts could run into several millions of dollars for interruption activities within the region, but those amounts of money are quite modest when you look at the cost of, say, 1,500 people. That would probably be of the order of $80 or $90 million if they'd come to Australia.
It's a cosy arrangement. The cash-strapped Indonesian police force gets much-needed external funding, and Australia gets willing contractors to help stop the boats before they leave. The only ones not happy with the setup are the asylum seekers themselves, who resent being treated like criminals and are escorted by up to 3 policemen wherever they go.
Kalau ada apa-apa,
Yani manem go ini sama-sama, ini satu hosen, ini satu hosen.
Kalau sama-sama nanti, kalau ada apa-apa untuk kamu, ya kan, yang digantung saya. Kalau situ kena tabrakan, itu kena saya, accident, kena saya. Makanya kita kawal.
One local journalist thinks they should be thankful they're not in Australia.
Terlalu baik kita, Pak. Australia aja langsung masuk sel kan?
But outside the UNHCR office in Jakarta, no one feels the slightest bit grateful. When asylum seekers arrive in Australia by boat, we call them queue jumpers and accuse them of stealing places from good refugees who wait their turn. But these Iraqi refugees have reached the front of the queue and found that it gets them nowhere. The UNHCR has decided they are genuine refugees in need of resettlement. Almost 2 years on, they're still waiting for somewhere to go. Today, they've gathered to register their protest.
Let's get it right. The fact that they've been found to be a refugee and are in Indonesia, where they are safe, does not give them a priority place. There is no need or particular hurry for them to be resettled. And I'm not prepared to accept that they ought to be holding the sword of Damocles over us and saying you haven't done it soon enough.
The UNHCR has written to 11 countries, asking them to find places for the refugees who now come under their protection in Indonesia. So far, Finland, Sweden and the United States of America have all agreed to help. But after 6 months, there's still no reply from Australia.
I believe our office in Canberra is doing also as hard as they can, but still the resettlement countries have their own prerogative.
And in this case, it seems Australia is deciding to stall as much as it can by not replying to your requests for information on their stance.
I don't know about that, yeah.
I don't know what letter you are speaking about.
Well, they say they've been waiting for 6 months for a response to a series of letters they sent to 11 countries, asking for clarification on whether those countries would accept refugees that they have deemed to be legitimate refugees. And to this date, they're waiting for responses from 8 countries, of which one is Australia. I was just wondering what
let me just say Australia's position has been made clear.
Not to the UNHCR in Jakarta,
it has been made to, well, I don't know about the UNHCR in Jakarta.
These Iraqis have been given the status as refugees and have been waiting for 18 months in Jakarta for resettlement. Will Australia be accepting these?
No.
Many of these refugees are now beginning to regret going through the proper channels. In this Jakarta hotel, Hamed, who is Palestinian, says he's not about to make the same mistake as his Iraqi friends. So what do you plan to do?
Well, I'm planning to take a boat journey to Australia.
And how do you go about organising that?
Well, I have the connections through some people here, and I had friends that they left last week and they already arrived to Australia on Christmas Island.
He's already paid the smuggler and is now waiting for the call. Doing things the official way doesn't interest him in the slightest.
Because they've been waiting here for 2-3 years, you know. I rather to go there and maybe stay in a camp for a year, you know, than end up going out of the camp and starting a new life.
I invited Hamed to watch a video that describes what he and his Iraqi friends can expect if they jump the queue.
The detention centers are often thousands of kilometers from major cities and located in remote areas, sometimes deserts. Even in countries
Australia's Immigration Department produced this video to try and convince would-be boat people that
it is not worth the risk.
So is Australia's scare campaign having the desired effect?
ما نخاف لا من الصحراء ولا من الجبال ولا من معسكرات. هاي يعني هاي مسلسل حياتنا ويا الحكومة العراقية ويا الرعب الحكومة العراقية. هاي فنعيشها يعني ببساطة يعني بسهولة. نقدر حتى لو يذبونا في المحيط هذا احنا نعيش.
لا يعني هو جايب هذا الفيلم حتى يخوفنا؟
لا احنا ما نخاف من هذا.
إذا كان جايب هذا الفيلم حتى نأتي احنا عندنا طريقين بس. طريق اليون وطريق البحر مع استراليا. فاحنا في طريقنا إلى اليأس من حلول اليون. اليون ما في عندها غير كلمة واحدة هي ويت.
Why do they have a greater priority than those who have been languishing in refugee camps for years elsewhere? What is the claim for priority? Except that they had money and were free enough to travel to Indonesia. Every decision you take which rewards people with an outcome that is tantamount to a migration outcome invites more people to do the same.
This well-known Jakarta landmark is the epicenter of the people smuggling trade in Indonesia. A place to meet and share information, and a place to kill time waiting for your boat to leave. Tonight, as Hamed discovers, it's quieter than usual.
Well, few that came last week to this place, it was full, looked like a street in Baghdad. There was like around 350 people in this place. They all left to be ready to go to Australia on boats. And if you wait one more week, will be more coming in here to this place. And the same process all over. It's an ongoing process. Thank you.
As we now know, those 350-odd people, last week eating cheeseburgers in Jakarta, are now in detention in Australia. They left for Australia from the west coast of Java. They were lucky to go undetected because, as Dateline has discovered, Australian Federal Police are active in these remote waters. The owner of this deep-sea fishing boat told us that in an undercover operation, 3 police, armed with Hawaiian shirts and cases of beer, rented his boat to investigate people smuggling activities in the area. They were surveying the coast of South Sumatra. From here, it's less than 500 kilometres to Christmas Island. Back in Sumbawa, the Afghani families appear to have settled in. The children attend a local school and have learned to speak Indonesian. But Indonesia will never be more than a temporary home, a stopover on the way to what they imagine will be a better life.
هر انسانی برای طفلش برای اولادش جز خوبیا چیز دیگه نمیخوایم. اما متاسفانه 1.5 سال است که من اینجا در بندیخانه سمباوا داخل هتل ما سوال خشکی اونا رو نمیتونم جواب بدم تا چی رسم من طلب اونا رو برایشان برسانم. هر لحظه از من سوال میکنن پدر ما چی وقت خلاص میشیم از اینجا؟ پدر ما کجا میریم اصلا؟ پدر خانه ما کجا شد؟ جواب ندارم.
Knowing the reception that awaits boat people in Australia, one can't help but wonder whether this family at least would be better off staying where they are.